Hi, Grace Church Youth. I hope you're all well and, and just coping with life as it is right now. I'm Donna. You may know me from the worship team. I'm also Kobe's mum. So he has asked me if I would just do a little talk on one of the Psalms. So I've picked Psalm 42, which is a lament psalm. It's a psalm about despair and about a lack of hope in a difficult time. But I'm not going to read you the psalm because you can do that yourself. You're more than capable. What I'm going to read you is a poem that was written about the psalm. And it goes like this. Day and night, my daily plight, attacks from across society, attacks that don't come quietly, stuck in a world that taunts me, stuck with the words that haunt me. Where is your God? At times, I ask that myself, behind closed doors, laid out on all fours, one with the floor, and I thirst. I thirst for him who said, thirsty, come and drink. Come to me and drink. We had days dancing in abundant streams, showered by waterfalls that glistened and gleamed. But now I crawl through the desert lands on worn out knees and dried out hands. Some nights, all that pass my lips are the tears that brush the tips of my mouth. Tears that fall from the eyes, that lift to the skies, while my mind only cries, why are you downcast, oh my soul, when you know the one who's made you whole? Where is your God? The nation's top comedians, the head of global media, those who edit the truth on Wikipedia. They've made their minds up on religion. The word itself brings such derision. You're religious? But the God they dismissed as the one they created, not the one who created. Putting God in a box, nailed shut by clever man-made knocks, and bury him. Bury him? Maybe they're quaint pictures of God, but not the God of Scripture's God. Where is my God? Where's Da Vinci in Mona Lisa? Where's Michelangelo in the Sistine? Every inch of work bears the artist's mark, however flawed or pristine. And in the picture of me, God's not just part of it. He's the very heart of it. He's the materials, the artist, the creator of what art in. He allows my life picture to exist with all its imperfections, not cause he's an imperfect artist or mean or callous or heartless. My picture's this way so that I can be in it, rather than burn it or bin it. He lovingly crafts, cracks and decays. He tends to me slowly, adding colour to greys, till he restores me to his masterpiece, his meant to be. Here is my God. I picked the phone because it was a reflection on the psalm where it says in there, where is your God? And it's talking about things that we all know and we all understand in our urban life. It was written by a chap called Real Mason, and I think it was very cleverly done. Being a Christian when things are going well is something you don't even think about. You just get on with it and you think, life's great, thank you very much, God. But when things go wrong and everyone's asking you, where's your God? It can be so much harder. Psalm 42 was a song. It was written as a song and it was to be sung by the worship band of the day, the Sons of Korah. Great name if anybody wants to pick a band name. It's said that the psalm was written by King David during a period of time when he was persecuted, and it was a time where he couldn't get to the temple. He couldn't get to go and worship the God of his heart and that he loved. The very beginning of the psalm the writer talks about a really deep thirsting for God as he remembers better time. And, in this current time, where we may be restricted on the things we can do or where we can go or how many people we can see, we can be thirsting for these things. But are these the things that will really support our emotional development? Or are they just things that are just taking us away from God and away from things that are going to nourish us? Matthew 5 verse 6 says, "Blessed are they that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled." When we allow God into our despair, he will fill us with the things that we need to maintain ourselves within difficult circumstances. I had circumstances once where I had an argument with my boyfriend at the time. It was a really bitter and hurtful argument, and we didn't speak to each other for weeks. But during that time, we still had to see each other on a regular basis. My boyfriend then decided his answer was to deal with things was to then start speaking to someone else. And I was very hurt and very angry. And I was just in despair. You know, one part of me wanted to walk away and just say he's awful. But knowing what we had just been through together, another part of me didn't want that to happen. So in the midst of my despair, I remember I prayed and I asked God to help me focus on the things that really mattered. And he did. It was really funny. I just found myself just not being bothered about that situation and focusing on things that were really important. And my focus and my behaviour changed so drastically. My boyfriend then came back and asked me, How did you do it? And I told him, I prayed. The psalmist states that he's having a bad time and people are noticing and questioning and coming to that refrain, where is your God? They think he's been abandoned. The same way we can feel abandoned at times. I felt abandoned at that point when I'd had the argument with my boyfriend. I felt he'd left me and everyone else had left me at that point. Our friends were doing what they were doing and things like that. And in that, you know, when we feel abandoned, we can also feel like abandoning any faith that we have. And that's a human response. However, the Bible tells us that God will never leave us or forsake us. And that his promise is through Jesus. This is a promise he made by sending his own son and sacrificing him so that we could always have that communion with God. Moving on, if you go on to read further down the psalm, it says that the psalmist then starts to encourage himself. It's quite funny, you know, when you're sitting there in despair and you sometimes think you can never. And this person, David, was having a terrible time, you know. I mean, the psalm is attributed to a time where he was being chased by King Saul, or it could be a time where his own son had betrayed him. Whichever one it is, he was, you know, in a bad place. And he goes on to encourage himself and reminds himself of better days when he felt closer to God, as well as him praising God for the expectations of things to come, things that are going to change. You could kind of paraphrase it with, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. My boyfriend tried and succeeded in hurting me with his behaviour. But in the long run, I was the one that came out stronger and more focused when I allowed God to take me through that whole scenario. Towards the end of the psalm, we see the psalmist coming back to pour out more of his despair and his feelings to God. But he also then acknowledges God is his rock, his hope, and his security. And that's something that we also need to remember. God is our rock, our hope, and our security. And there's no COVID, there's no anything that can change that or will change it. But the example that the psalmist sets here is one that we can follow in times of discouragement. When we're not feeling great, it's okay to pour all those horrible emotions out and give them to God. He wants to hear them. It's okay then to feel that despair, but by handing it over to God, we then allow him to change our despair into something new and fresh. The Bible says He will make all things beautiful in his time. And that's the truth. Finally, I'd like to leave you with a musical rendition of Psalm 42, which is done by Tori Kelly, and it's particularly beautiful. Enjoy, take care, and I hope to see you soon, either at online church or in a hangout somewhere. God bless.
There's a quiet place that gives me peace when I'm alone with you. There's a hiding place. Your spirit's always there when I'm confused. Yeah. Only you can purify. All this world won't ever satisfy my heart. It cries, and as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. With thirsty God, you're the living water, and my soul needs you, Lord, and needs you, Lord, need you, Lord, and need you, Lord, need you, Lord. I'm a stranger here, thirsty 'cause I know it's not my home. Yeah, like a desert here,